Greetings. My name is Derrick Barnes, and I'm a children's book author. Most notably, there's a few titles. Ruby and the Booker Boys series you may be familiar with. A middle grade novel entitled We Could Be Brothers. Picture book, New York Times bestseller, The King of Kindergarten. And the multi-award winner, Crown, an ode to the fresh cut. It's my baby. September 1st, I will be releasing a follow-up to Crown with illustrator Gordon James, picture book entitled I Am Every Good Thing, September 1st. But today I'm going to be reading and sharing with you guys my latest release. Came out March 17th, 2020. Who Got Game Baseball? True but amazing stories. And I'm a super big sports fan, more so of football, but I'm one of those Sports Center guys. I watch Sports Center, keep up with each major sport. But even more so, I am a historian of life. I like to know the inner workings and the background of everything. So I'm a big research buff. So when I was tasked to write this series, this is the first book. Number 2 and 3 will be basketball and football, where I analyze and shine the light on individuals, games, stats, stories that don't necessarily get the attention that they deserve. And I'm all about the underdog. So I try to pile this book with as many people that kids that like sports, I guess middle grade, 4th grade to 7th, 8th grade, who like to obtain and share as many stats and records that they possibly can with their friends. And baseball is all about stats and records. So just to go through it, I divided this book into 4 chapters, 4 sections. So the first chapter is pivotal players. These are very important people who may have flown under the radar, but are very pivotal to the evolution of the game of baseball. Chapter 2 is sensational stories, stories that may blow your mind, that involve players, games. I'll be sharing a few of them with you. The third chapter is radical records. Again, records are the numbers, more so than any other sport. I would imagine baseball is driven by stats and numbers. So I'll be sharing maybe 1 or 2 of those with you guys. And the last chapter is Colossal Comebacks. Who doesn't love a good comeback story, right? So it may be an individual who came back from an ailment, and obviously a team that was down for the entire game but came roaring back in the 7th and 8th inning. So so many things. If you have a kid in your life that loves sports and baseball and loves to share information with their friends and whatnot, this is the book for them. So I'm gonna read the introduction and then go off and read maybe like 2 or 3 snippets from the book. So who got game? Well, it might be someone that you didn't even know existed until now. This book is about the unrecognized and unheralded figures and the untold stories that hold important spaces in baseball history. Here are 42 priceless tidbits, astronomical stats, untouchable records, unforgettable plays, hilarious stories, and some of the most important baseball folks you probably never heard of. Like the teen girl who struck out 2 baseball Hall of Fame greats in an exhibition game, or the real home run king who doesn't live in the United States but in Japan, or the longest game ever played in baseball history. Once you've read this and consumed it, please share this valuable, shiny nuggets far and wide. In the meantime, play ball. Okay, so I could go with Satchel Paige, but I'll go with Ozzie Virgil. Ozzie Virgil is so important to the game of baseball when you talk about the demographics in today's baseball game. He was the first Dominican player to be allowed to play in the major leagues. Out of the 882 Major League Baseball players who took the field on opening day in 2019, a whopping 251 were born outside of the United States. The country with the greatest representation, 102, was the Dominican Republic, the DR. Who was the maverick, the trailblazer the first to come from the small Caribbean nation island of Hispaniola and opened the door for so many others? New York Giant Ozzie Virgil. Virgil's family immigrated to the United States in 1945 when he was only 13. They settled in the Bronx in New York, where Virgil went to DeWitt Clinton High School. Because he didn't make his school's baseball team, he had to settle for playing sandlot baseball, which is another way of saying he played with his friends. Once he graduated, Virgil signed up for the U.S. Marine Corps and played for their team at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. He focused on being an all-around talent and learned as many positions as he could. The only two he didn't learn were center field and pitcher. Virgil served in the reserves for 2 years, and when he got home, he was good enough to try out for the New York Giants, which was a baseball team at the time. They eventually moved to San Francisco. Virgil made his debut with the Giants on September 23, 1956, becoming the first Dominican to play Major League Baseball. He played for 6 teams over 9 seasons, mostly as a utility man. That means he was a backup for multiple positions, played wherever and whenever he was needed. His numbers were not flashy, but they were good enough to prove that he could hang with the big boys, and he helped open the doors for other Dominican and Latinx players like Felipe Alou, the second Dominican to play in the majors, joined the Giants in 1958 and became an all-star player. From the late 1960s to the early 1970s, there was a significant increase in Latin players on teams like the Braves and the Pirates, the Reds, the White Sox, and the Indians. Many Dominican players compare Virgil's importance to that of Jackie Robinson's for black players. But Virgil, charming and humble, would say, "I have always felt grateful and fortunate to have been chosen by God to open the doors of baseball for my countrymen, considering that hundreds with more talent than me hadn't been given a chance." Ain't that the truth? So he's one of the most fascinating stories that I found. I did months of research. There were 42 stories that made it into this book. So I did like maybe 60 to 70 stories, and these were the 42 that I narrowed it down to. Let's read another one. Jackie Mitchell was a very cool story. This is in chapter 2, Sensational Stories. And Jackie Mitchell was a teenage girl from Tennessee. Legend has it, she struck out during the exhibition games, 2 of the most powerful hitters in the history of baseball. Legend slayer, Jackie Mitchell. Show some of the pictures, I'm sorry. I had to go back and show y'all Brother Virgil. 17, that's how old minor league pitcher Jackie Mitchell was when her team, the Chattanooga Lookouts, played an exhibition game against the mighty New York Yankees. That's how old she was when she struck out 2 of the mightiest Yankees of all time, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Jackie was introduced to the game early on by her father, who took her out to baseball field almost as soon as she learned how to walk. As she got older and learned to play, her next-door neighbors, Charles Dazzy Vance, an eventual Hall of Fame pitcher, most notably for the Brooklyn Dodgers, became her coach. Dazzy led the National League in strikeouts 7 seasons in a row, so you know Jackie was learning from one of the best. On April the 2nd, 1931, in front of 4,000 fans, Babe Ruth walked to the plate, tipped his hat at Jackie and smiled. His stance was relaxed, like he was expecting much more. Suddenly, Jackie hurled a wicked left-arm pitch with a side delivery. Babe didn't swing, but his facial expression changed. It was a ball, but it showed that Jackie meant business. Jackie tossed another pitch, but this time Babe swung and missed. He missed the next pitch too. 2 strikes. The next pitch was really sweet. Jackie delivered a sinker to the outside corner of the strike box, and Babe struck out. It only took 4 pitches to strike out one of the greatest power hitters of all time. And next up was Lou Gehrig, the man known as the Iron Horse. Gehrig was about to have a great season. He would tie Babe Ruth as the league leader in home runs that year and finished with a .341 batting average. Didn't matter. On that day, Gehrig swung and he missed 3 straight pitches. The crowd went nuts. Now, some historians say the whole thing was a prank and after April Fool's Day gag, but neither Babe nor Lou Gehrig ever admitted to striking out on purpose. And Jackie Mitchell swore up and down until the day she died at the age of 73 that those two men swung with sincere force and missed. That's an awesome story, man. So this book is chock full of facts that will definitely spark the interest of any sports fan, any baseball fan. And shout out to all the kids out there right now who may be missing Little League season. The game will be back. You guys will play again. So you keep training, keep working out, keep eating right, keep looking at video and film, and read. And not only Who Got Game Baseball, but read everything you can get your hands on. Hopefully this will be one of your first reads and your next read. So y'all take care. Thank you very much. Peace.